Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life here with a list of games that you can play on your mobile phone. One of these. Everyone has one, be it an iPhone, an Android, a Samsung, whatever they all are. I don't know, I've got an iPhone, so I don't really know what the others are. But basically, everybody's got a mobile phone, and they can play games in it. Up-to-date modern games on it. And if you're stuck at home right now, either on lockdown or on self-isolation because of the pandemic stretching the world, you're going to need entertainment. We already are doing a daily list of horror movies you can watch on the UK streaming sites. This is something different. This surrounds gaming. Now, rather than do one per day, because ultimately we're going to be recommending games that some of them you can play over weeks, we just thought we'll put it all into one video and you can go through them at your own leisure. So I have here 10 games available on mobile across all platforms. I've checked, all of these are available across all platforms. They're very important. None of these are free to play. And the reason being is because the free to play market is a disgrace. It's disgusting. It's rubbish. It's very hard to find anything good, either filled to the brim with ads constantly or egregious in-app purchases. It's not stuff you want to experience. And if you don't need us to tell you what free to play games there are, what good free to play games there are, you can literally just go through a list and download the top 10 from either store, any of the stores, and decide yourself if they're any good. We're not going to be recommending free to play games because to us, most of them aren't games. These are pay up front games, but these are pay up front games that are reasonably priced, and in, I believe, all circumstances, yes, all circumstances have no in-app purchases. You buy the game and it is yours to keep. And you will get from all of these a huge, lengthy, varying experience that you can lose yourself in for hours and days and weeks. Play at your own leisure. So we're going to go through them one by one. A couple of minutes talking about it and why I think you should basically consider playing these games. So the very, very first one should be no surprise to anyone who follows this site. It is Thomas Was Alone. Now, this is a side-scrolling platformer / puzzle game where you take on the role of sentient blocks, basically, shapes. The first one you play is as Thomas. And it's with the opening bit of narration that sets up the game perfectly. Thomas was alone. It was a weird first thought to have. Narrated by Danny Wallace, who does an incredible performance. He won a BAFTA for it. I think that says everything you need to know there. But Thomas Was Alone is an incredibly rewarding experience. It starts off very straightforward, complicates as it goes on, puzzles get a bit more complex as you meet new and more characters. But this is basically one of our all-time favourite games. It's got a decent length of battle, a decent amount of difficulty, but not so much that you'll get stuck and get frustrated. It's also got an incredibly well-done story. One that will pull at your emotions in ways you could not believe. You will not believe you could care about shapes the way this game makes you care. And it's got a fantastic soundtrack. I'm starting with this one because this is the one you should be choosing straight away. However, there are more. Number 2 is a game called To the Moon. This is a wonderful retro top-down 16-bit sprite-looking game. Beautiful colours, beautiful animation, and a fantastic story. It's basically you take on the role of two scientists as they try to give a dying man his last wish, which is to go to the moon. And they use experimental technology to enter his mind and change his memories, because he's in a coma, and they're changing his memories so that in his head he will have been an astronaut who went to the moon. But as they go back through his memories, they realise it's not as straightforward as that. And to change someone's memories changes some very important aspects of who they are. This is fucking gorgeous. A wonderful game that's really, really clever gameplay and really, really makes you feel, man. To the Moon is an absolute beautiful game and will give you days worth of content to play just to see it out at the end of the story. Thoroughly recommend it. Talking about beautiful games, there's a lot of this, I'm afraid. The next one is Love You to Bits. A puzzle game where you basically, it's called Love You to Bits. You're playing an astronaut who's trying to rescue the love of his life, which is a robot, a robot woman who's been smashed to pieces by a mad scientist, and you've got to collect her body parts across levels with these varying idea puzzles based around time travel and moving time back and forth and stuff like that. It's really, really clever stuff. Such unique amount of levels, real variety in it. And the story, again, is fantastic. It has an absolute gut punch of a plot twist halfway through it. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you what it is. There are no spoilers here. But it's also got a fantastic soundtrack. And it'll make you care. It'll make you care. Love you to bits. Continuing the theme of, wow, games. We have Little Inferno, another one of my all-time favourite games. What is fascinating about this is how it transforms. This is so simple. Your screen is a fireplace, and you buy items from a catalogue, and you burn them. Burning them some together will combine, and you can complete challenges by combining certain things that then create new things to burn. And that's all you do over and over again. And it looks great, the flame and the fire, and there's something really relaxing about like just putting your finger on the screen and setting fire to whatever's in your fireplace. You pick up coins that drop from them, pick up bonus coins from spiders and things like that, and every so often you'll get a letter. Maybe it'll be from the person selling the catalogues, maybe it's from the weatherman, or maybe it's from your next door neighbour who is living opposite you, and she sends you the occasional letter. Now, this is a fascinating game. This is an experience, as it's so simple. Seems so straightforward. Seems hardly like a game. You could say, wow, why isn't this a free-to-play game instead of the $4.99 I believe this one costs? There comes a point at a halfway through where something happens. I'm not going to spoil it for you again, but from this moment you will suddenly realise, oh, this is not what I think it is. Oh, the gameplay rarely changes except for the latter part of the game, but suddenly you realise, oh shit, there's a story here. There is something going on here. And it is earth-shattering moment where you're just like, oh my god, I want to see where this goes. It's beautiful, it's dark, it's got wonderful, wonderful music. And it's just really, really fun and really relaxing. Not so relaxing though is a horror game called Bendy An Ink Machine. You play from the first person's perspective, we'll say, and it's done in that kind of hand-drawn, almost early Disney-esque, you know, the Steamboat Willie style animation, like old cartoons. And you play as a character who's been invited back to a studio he used to work, Joey Drew Studios. And when he gets there, he finds it all in disrepair, the ink's leaking out of pipes, and there might be a demon roaming the halls. Bendy An Ink Machine. Wonderfully, wonderfully good horror game. Looks fantastic. Got some damn good scares and plays out really, really satisfyingly. So if you want a bit of a horror game, Bendy An Ink Machine will certainly do that for you. Right, now we're going to talk about two together, because there are two Broken Sword games. The first and the second. Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars, and Broken Sword 2, The Smoking Mirror. Two of my all-time favourite games. Point and click. Classic point and click as well, and really, really brilliantly designed, because they're both remastered versions for mobile with the whole touch and drag and touch to stuff like this. Fantastic narrative-driven stories. Which one is better? I prefer Broken Sword 2, but that's mainly because that was the first one I ever actually played. I played 2 before 1 on the PlayStation way back in the day. But they're both excellent, excellent stories. Massive amount of contact. Really interesting stuff. Some great, great puzzles. Can't recommend both these enough. Broken Sword 5 is actually on there. You might be wondering why 3 or 4 aren't on there, but 3 and 4 were 3D games, whereas Broken Sword uses 2D, that style, and Broken Sword 5 uses that style as well. Broken Sword 3 and 4 were 3D, and I don't know if they run on mobiles or if there's just not desire for them. They're not well loved. When people talk about how great Broken Sword was, they tend to talk about how great Broken Sword 1 was, Broken Sword 2, and like me, a lot of people love Broken Sword 5 as well. I would say 1 and 2 will be more than enough for you to enjoy. Right, sticking to point and clicks as well though. Broken Age from, Double Fine Studios. Great studio. Thoroughly recommend this. Really, really fascinating. Played from two perspectives. A boy in space and a girl on, I guess, an unknown planet. It's certainly not Earth. And how their stories interact. It's funny. It's adorable. It's got brilliant amount of puzzles and clever point and click elements that are really, at some points, really drive you nuts for how complex they can be, but that sense of satisfaction you get when you do them. And how these two stories play out and then eventually cross over makes this a much needed game, I think, that people need to play. It's certainly one of the lesser known ones on the phones, I think. It did well on like things like PC and console, but on phones, I don't know if many people really know of it. But definitely check out Broken Age. One people will probably be aware about, I don't know if they're aware it's on phone though, or mobiles, is Bully Anniversary Edition. Of course, Bully, the Rockstar game from fuck knows how long ago. This is the Anniversary Edition. Made for mobiles, looks fantastic, plays great on phones. If you know what Bully is, it's basically a very small and condensed style of Grand Theft Auto, but a bit more innocent than that. In that it takes place at a school. You play a boy who's joining this school, which has a bad reputation, is filled with all manner of cliques and gangs. And yeah, you just kind of play it out like that. You do usual things, you do missions, but there's some great stuff as well, like going to class and trying to do the class stuff and all that. It's surprisingly a lot of fun. And as you go on, the game really opens up and you get to explore the town. This is one I think you could lose the most amount of time to. Last but not least, Dust and Elysium Tale. Now, Dust and Elysium Tale, this is an interesting one. It's a wonderful 2D platformer / combat RPG elements and stuff like that. It looks fantastic, music's stunning, but it's story. You play Dust for its fucking story, and what a story it is. This is one that you will not be able to put down because you want to see where it goes. It's fascinating, it's got depths of emotion, and you will absolutely thoroughly enjoy the combat system, the leveling up system, and how it all plays out. This is a sure recommendation. All of them are. This is the 10 I chose of the going through everything that I've played or we reviewed on the site, on the mobile pay up front. These were the 10 that I went, yep. And there are more. And we might do another video in a week or two's time, depending upon how this whole, we'll still be on lockdown. We might be even on more of a lockdown. Maybe I won't even be able to leave. But in the meantime, there are 10 games you can play on your phone. Be it an Android, be it an iPhone, be it something else. These are all available. Choose one, choose two, and lose yourself in a fantastic set of games. The stuff that I'm proud to say that the site supports, that we love, and say these are the best games. These are 10 of the best games you can get. Not just on mobile, in some cases the best games out there. The likes of Thomas Was Alone, Little Inferno, Dust and Elysium Tale, Broken Sword 2. These are some of the all-time best games in our eyes, in my eyes personally as well. You know, Thomas Was Alone has had a massive impact on me. So I definitely recommend that one. Maybe if I had to choose one out of all 10 I'd ask you to play, it's that one. But you make the decision. We've given you 10. Check them all out. It's well worth your time, and it'll give you something to do. A couple of them as well can even distract your kids. The likes of Little Inferno, they will love the burning aspect of it, and they might be caught up in the wonderful story, depending upon their age, of course. The only one I'd suggest you don't give your children is Bendy An Ink Machine, because that shit is a horror game. Let us know in the comments if you do play any and what your thoughts on them are. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?